This is Greg in the Detail Garage, and today I'm going to show you how to remove spray paint.
A note on the windshield is one thing, but this explicit spray-painted message, "Learn how to park," is another. The owner of this silver car didn't want to be identified. She parked at 68th Street and Myrtle Avenue Tuesday night and woke up to this.
I know how hard it is to find spots in this neighborhood, so I would try to leave space if there was space. So it was very upsetting.
Another foul note instructing to park right. Police say this car was tagged overnight just 2 blocks away from the other. A surveillance camera at a nearby school captured this image, which may be the parking vigilante walking with spray paint. And residents want this vandal caught.
So we're here in the Detail Garage, and we're going to try to fix a major problem, and that's spray paint vandalism. Now this happens always around Halloween or some crazy time of the year when kids go out and spray paint a huge car. They usually mess up the car with different color spray paint, and as a detailing professional, I've encountered this problem many times. Now recently in the news, there was actually a guy going around New York City spray painting people who were having bad parking etiquette. So they were getting their cars spray painted with bad words all over them, and it was really messing up the whole car. Now this car actually got vandalized up the street in broad daylight. They actually caught him on security camera running away, and they were writing some crazy word on there, but they left just some residue on. So now we're going to try to clean off this spray paint the right way. Now if you go online and you search through a lot of videos or a lot of articles, you'll see a lot of different methods on trying to remove spray paint from vehicles. Some people will say to use oil, other people will say to use gasoline. If you go to the auto parts store, a lot of them might tell you to grab something called rubbing compound. Now all of these are real bad for the paint, and I'll explain to you why. If you use gasoline to take this off, it can actually go ahead and ruin the paint by either staining it or creating any type of mark from rubbing the gasoline on the paint. It can also ruin the clear coat or the single stage paint. Now another method to do this would be to use rubbing compound. Now this is another bad way to remove spray paint because rubbing compound is super abrasive, and what you're going to do is you're going to rub away all of the spray paint, and it's actually going to cause scratches in the paint from the hardcore abrasives that are in the rubbing compound. So we're going to go ahead and try a couple different ways to get it done right, and I'm going to explain to you how to do it. Now all spray paint is different. We don't know what kind of spray paint this is, and we don't know how long it's been there or if there's any other problems with the spray paint. So I'm going to show you a few different ways on how to remove it. Now, you always want to start out with the least aggressive method. So if you get spray paint on your car, let's try the least aggressive method first. Now this is some P40 Detail Spray in a professional bottle. I'm going to try using this first to take off the spray paint. Okay, we rub pretty hard, and it's really not taking it off. None at all. Okay. So a little bit right here, it's starting to take a little bit off, but we're putting a lot of friction on there. And that's just the overspray residue part. It's not the actual spray paint itself. So what a lot of people might do is go grab a compound. We're going to save that to last if it doesn't work. So now I'm actually going to try something else that is a really good method that I've used for the last couple of years, and that's using some natural Carnauba wax. Now this is butter wet Carnauba wax. Now we're going to try and remove this with Carnauba wax, and I'll explain to you why it's probably going to work. Now butter wet wax or any type of Carnauba wax has natural Carnauba oils, and the Carnauba oils, since it's all natural, actually have a Carnauba oil inside of it that break down spray paint and actually cleanse the paint. Now it's designed to cleanse the paint and make it shine a little bit more and protect it, but those oils might help take off this spray paint, so let's give it a try. So this is butter wet wax. This is a liquid wax. I like to use a liquid or a cream wax a little bit better than a paste wax or a spray wax because it's going to give me more ability to rub it on the paint. So let's take a good amount of our Carnauba wax and let's place it on the vehicle, and I'm going to go ahead and rub. Okay, now look at what it's doing. It's actually taking the spray paint right off. Boom. Now let's go ahead. I'm going to keep working over here, try to take this big chunk off. Boom. Do you guys see that? It's actually removing the spray paint just by itself. Now this has no abrasive in it. The butter wet wax is just pure liquid Carnauba. It has no abrasive. It's just a shine enhancing and protecting wax. So I'm not scratching the surface. It's actually the natural Carnauba oils and the natural Carnauba wax are actually pulling off the spray paint. It's cleansing the paint naturally. Let's try going up here a little bit more. Now there's some stubborn parts that might be a little bit more stubborn to get off, but it's easily coming off. There we go. Now spray paint's often really hard to remove, and a lot of people often say to use a compound or a heavy abrasive because spray paint actually embeds itself into the pores of the paint. Now paint's actually porous, so it's got a lot of tiny little holes in the paint, and the spray paint grabs onto that and then actually messes up the paint and can cause an actual stain. And then people rub it out with compound and it ends up scratching the paint. But I'm easily able to take it right off. Now I'm going to show you that it's actually not the pad that's actually taking off, it's actually the Carnauba wax. So I'm going to put a little bit of Carnauba wax on my finger. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to use my finger to take it off. And look at how the Carnauba wax breaks down the spray paint. Really cool. Now we use ultra refined Carnauba in the chemical guys, butter wet wax. And this ultra refined Carnauba is super pure. It's 100% Brazilian. And it just gives good results. And look, you notice I'm taking it off right with my finger. You know, I don't want to sit here using my finger too much. So I'm going to go ahead go back to the pad. Make sure you use a generous amount of the wax when you're using it because you're using it to cleanse the paint. There we go. Now there's some smaller spots on here which are a little bit harder to remove. Like right here at the top, it's embedded really well into the paint. But I easily got it off just by using the Carnauba. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and buff off any Carnauba. If you got a tag, go ahead and rip it off. And I'm going to buff off my Carnauba wax. There we go. Boom. Now look at what we got. We've almost got it all gone. There's some lighter spray edges on the top. I'm going to go ahead and take care of those right now. But the majority of the spray paint is completely gone. It just came off in just a few seconds. So if you're one of those people in New York that got your car vandalized, you have a crazy ex-girlfriend that came and totally sprayed up your car, that's not a problem. Don't even sweat about it because the Carnauba wax can easily take it off. Now, if somebody keyed your car, that's a little bit different. You might not be able to take that off as easy if it hurt the paint permanently, but spray paint's one of the easiest things to remove on a vehicle. There we go, got that overspray off. Now I'm going to go get the last bit of overspray right here. Cool. Now make sure you work it into the paint. You might need to rub it a little bit harder to get the spray paint off, but it will break down the spray paint. Now this will work on some spray paints. It won't work on all spray paints. I have no idea what kind of spray paint this was or how it stained the paint or what kind of additives it had to grab onto the paint. So you might have to use a compound. And in some cases, you will actually have to use a machine polisher like a compound like V32 or a cutting polish like V36 to take off the spray paint. The spray paint's only on the top layer, so it will come off, but I can't guarantee you that the spray paint will not have made a stain into the paint. If you get to it fast, or if it's a certain kind of spray paint, it might come off easy. We were lucky in this case because butter wet wax completely took off all the spray paint without harming the vehicle. Plus, we didn't take out any oils from the paint, we didn't place any scratches on there, and now we have a nice, smooth black finish. Really easy. So now if you guys out there, if you're on Halloween or you have an ex-girlfriend that came and sprayed your car, you can easily get it off, no problem. Just go ahead and first try the least abrasive method, and that was our butter wet wax, and then that really did the job. If you need to go a little bit harder, you can always go ahead and grab a compound or a polish, but start with the least abrasive method first and try that, and that was the butter wet wax. Now you guys know how to remove spray paint from a car. Hopefully you people in New York can get it off and that vandalism can stop and you guys can get your cars looking great, but you can easily take it off with some butter wet wax. So if you guys want to check out all of our cool products, check out our website, chemicalguys.com. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel with more tips and tricks just like this one on how to detail any type of vehicle. But always remember to have fun, stay clean, keep on detailing.